question is, what are your thoughts on renting?
Renting's great. Renting is perfect for a lot of people. If you're not sure that you like an area, but you may want to try it out, do a 6-month lease somewhere. That's something that, is a great idea. If you're not sure about your financial situation, maybe things are kind of rough at work, they're laying people off, or maybe you got, a cut in pay or something like that, and you're just not sure about your finances. Renting is probably going to, be a better way to go. If you're still in the process of cleaning up your credit, if you're still in the process of getting enough money together for the down payment or whatever closing costs you have to pay, if you're still doing all of those things, renting is really, the perfect thing to do. And if you're trying to figure out, that's what this episode's about, right? If you're trying to figure out to keep renting or to buy, you've got to take into consideration, the pros and the cons. Like the bad stuff is kind of some of the stuff I mentioned earlier. It's a bigger commitment. If you're renting a place and you don't like it, you can break the lease and pay whatever the penalty is, or you can just wait for the lease to expire. But if you own a house, you have to go about selling it, or you have to go about renting it out, or whatever. So there's more of a commitment. There's also more involved with the upkeep and the maintenance. If you're renting now, all of that stuff is handled by someone else. So if you were to purchase, it becomes your responsibility. Is that something that you're cool with? If you're cool with it, then great. If you're not cool with it, then maybe renting is the thing to do. So there's nothing wrong with renting. It's perfect for lots of people in different situations. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are renting instead of buying right now because they're just not sure where the market is going to go. The thing about it is that rates are likely to continue to rise. And if you buy now and rates do go lower in the future, you could always refinance into the lower rate. So there's nothing wrong with buying now in a market that's kind of crazy out there with rates and housing inventory, and there's nothing wrong with renting. It's really just an individual choice, and that's why I feel like so if you have our guide, we have 20 questions in that first step. So that first step is figuring out to buy or to keep renting. We've got 20 questions that you should ask yourself. So if you're trying to figure that out. So if you've got our guide, it's in there. If you don't have our guide, we'll be letting you know a little bit later how you can get a free copy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. My last question is, how do rates affect your buying power?
So real simple. The higher the interest rate, then the higher your payment. If like we were talking about just a second ago, FHA has a cap of 57% debt to income ratio. Well, if rates were if rates were 3% and you had a DTI of say 45%, well, and then the rates go up to 5% on that same purchase price, now your DTI goes up. Right? Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Because the interest rate is going to make your payment go up. Well, if you weren't maxing out the debt to income ratio before, if you were well under that 57%, then it doesn't really affect you as far as what you can buy, but it does affect your payment because your payment went up. What's really challenging is for the person that is already maxed out with the DTI. Let's say that rates are in the 3s and you got pre-approved for a loan, but the loan has you at 57% DTI or 56% DTI, so you're like maxed out. Well, now if the interest rates go up, you can't buy that same house. You've got to actually lower your purchase price because you've got to get it up under the DTI limit. Does that make sense?
I got you.
So it does affect you. It's going to make your payment go up no matter what, but for some people it's pushing them out of being able to actually qualify for the home that they want to buy.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks
So
for
that's how
explaining that.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah.
That's your last question?
Yes.
So I want to point out a few things real quick. I just made a few notes about this. And I would say the key to no regrets, because what you want to do is you want to have fun with this and you want to get the house that you want. And then once you've moved in, you want to be able to look back on all of this, and feel really good about it and not have any regrets about the process. And in my opinion, after doing this for a long time, I think the best way to make that happen for you is to do your research. Ask lots of questions. I mentioned earlier, this is a great time, even early in the beginning, this is a great time to talk to a few realtors, talk to a few loan officers. Don't commit to any of them just yet. Don't sign any contracts. Don't let them pull your credit. But the key really to going through this process, enjoying it, having fun with it, and being completely satisfied with your decisions for years and years to come, that key really is research and asking a lot of questions. So I just wanted to point that out. Part of your research is probably going to be online. One of the best online resources for you is from the CFPB. That's short for Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They are not a for-profit company. They are part of the federal government, and their sole purpose is to look out for U.S. consumers. And they have a huge section on mortgages and home buying on their website. And they have a really great section on mortgage insurance and different, little parts of the process as you're going through. So even in the beginning, when you're gathering information just to decide if you should, buy or keep renting, a resource like the CFPB could be, a really good resource for you. And that's consumerfinance.gov. I mentioned this earlier, but real quick, if you're trying to figure out some things to do with your credit scores are low and you need to get them up, or they're just good and you want to make them excellent, we've got a great section in our guide, our home buying guide. And if you have that guide, it's pages 17 through 22, and it covers some really important basics about credit and how to get your credit scores for free if you don't know how to avoid some of the shenanigans out there from some of these credit reporting companies and stuff like that. Also, mortgage calculators. You're probably going to be on different sites like Zillow or Realtor.com or other sites. And you'll probably use a mortgage calculator to estimate what your payment would be, how much your closing cost out of pocket would be. Just be really careful with those. A lot of them are not accurate at all. Sometimes they'll misquote the payment. Sometimes they'll misquote the amount of money that you would have out of pocket. Sometimes they're just a little bit deceptive. So just be aware of that as you're gathering your information. You may be thinking, hey, I can get this house for a $2,000 payment, but they may not be including taxes and insurance, so really your payment's $3,000 or whatever. So anyway, just be careful with that as you're gathering your information. Talk to people you trust already, people that maybe have been through this recently. Ask other homeowners how they feel about home ownership, because that's what you're getting into, right? You're making an investment in this piece of real estate, but it's going to be your home, and it's going to be something that you're going to have to take care of. Another thing is you may deal with people you may deal with people as you go through this process who are discouraging, or maybe they mean well, but the things that they say really are more frustrating than anything. So just be prepared for that. Sometimes we recommend, hey, just keep things secret. If you've got friends or family members or whatever that are more of a downer than anything, maybe you just tell them once you get the keys instead of listening to them as you go through the process. So just be aware of that. Some people have great support systems. Some people, have people close to them that, again, they mean well, but, they discourage people from, going for something bigger, which might, for example, like going from renting to, purchasing a house. And, really, I would say that's kind of it. I mentioned it. We've got 20 questions that you should ask yourself if you're going to buy your first home and you're not sure what to do. And you can find that on pages 25 through 29 of our guide. So great stuff today. We've got a viewer question that we're going to cover in just a second. Anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it for me, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, very cool. So we've got a couple of special offers for you. Check this out, and then we'll be right back with a viewer question. Hey, it's Brian at Showcase Agency. If you're going to buy a home and you're thinking, man, I'm taking out this giant loan and making this huge commitment, and I just want to go with my best option, then we've got two great offers for you. The first is the Beginner's Guide to First-Time Home Buying. If you're going to buy your first home, it takes 9 steps. 9 steps to go from renting to owning. This comprehensive guide covers all 9 steps in detail. You can download it for free at showcasefreeguide.com. The second offer is a discovery call with me or Karen. Either of us can answer every question you have about buying your first home, and we can direct you to additional resources we're sure you'll find helpful. There's no pressure, no sales pitch, there's no obligation or hassle. You can sign up at showcasecall.com. And just because it's another 6 months or a year before you're ready to buy, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be thinking about it now and planning ahead. Pick up our free guide for first-time homebuyers at showcasefreeguide.com and schedule a discovery call so we can go over your plans and timeline together. We can answer all of your questions, and we'll send you links to additional resources you'll find helpful. Go to showcasecall.com.
And we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and then let's get right into our viewer question.
All right, let's hear it.
We are shopping for mortgage loans, and one loan officer who we have been with from the beginning wants to see a new lender's proposal after I asked him if he could do better. Any reason not to share?
No, actually it's going to be better to share, in my opinion. And I've been doing this since 2005, and I've seen a lot of different estimates or home loan quotes or proposals, whatever you want to call them. And in my opinion, I think it's great, first of all, that you are talking to more than one loan officer. You're talking to at least 2, since you got 2 different quotes. So I think that's great. We recommend you talk to at least 3, gives you a little bit better perspective. But we also recommend that whatever quotes that you get from each of these loan officers, share them with the other loan officers. I think that's the best way to go. It allows the other loan officers to, basically to give their take on what these other people are offering. Maybe they can offer something better, maybe they can't. Maybe they see some kind of inaccuracy in the other loan officer's quote and they point that out. So there's all kinds of really good stuff that you as the home buyer can benefit from by sharing the quotes. There's nothing negative that I can think of from sharing the quotes. So I would definitely share them, and then let each of them kind of compete for your business, and then just go with whichever one you feel is going to give you the best combination of service or fees or whatever. Some people are looking for like a certain level of service or personal attention, and that's very important to them. Some people are looking for just the bottom line, lowest interest rate and fees. Doesn't matter if the company never returns their calls or treats them like dirt. So what you've got to do is you've got to decide what's important for you, and talk to a few different loan officers so you can find the one that's going to be the best fit for you. And by sharing those loan estimates or quotes or whatever they're calling them, by sharing those with each other, it's going to help you to learn more, and it's going to help you to be a better home buyer, and you'll end up being, happier with the loan that you go with.
Perfect.
So, yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. Does that cover it?
Yes.
Yeah, so thanks again for being here today. We hope you enjoyed the viewer question. We hope you enjoyed everything earlier on the first step of the 9 steps to buy a home. If you are going to buy a home, whether you're 6 months, 12 months out, 2 years out, whatever, pick up a copy of our free guide for first-time home buyers at Showcase Free Guide. Even if you're a move-up buyer where you've got a house now and you're going to go buy another one, this information in the guide is probably helpful for you if you haven't, bought and sold in market conditions like this, or if it's been a while, and you'd like a refresher. So the beginner's guide is a comprehensive guide, 300 plus pages, and you can get it at Showcase Free Guide. And Zeke, what you got for us?
Awesome. So if you guys have any viewer questions, feel free to comment them down below. We'll be sure to answer them in one of our videos. And please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications to see when we upload next.
Sounds great. Thanks again for joining us. Enjoy your day.